Welcome to the Brethren. My name is Renee and this is Fictional Crafts. And what am I doing today other than looking after sick children? It's getting towards the end of June and I have not done much in the way of keeping you up to date on my reading my TBR down. And in fact my TBR is actually physically gone back up again because I bought a pile of books in May and they're slowly trickling in. Slowly. And 4 more turned up today. Now one I've already read, which is pattern recognition. I couldn't get the old edition of Spook Country. Is that the one that I've got to read? Yes. So I figured I'd paid like $2 for the original version that I read, so I got it on a sale. But I have decided to call getting my TBR down stamp or scrap, because I get stamp. So since I last spoke to you, where I literally just went through every book on my TBR, a few books that I have already read have come in, which I got to put back into my bookcase, and a lot of books that I haven't already read have come in. But I really should learn to put this here. Can you still hear me? I hope you can. But I know I am going to stamp pattern recognition. Title page. There it is. And I did it upside down. Yeah. I do that sometimes. So I really like that stamp. But yes, so this can actually just go immediately. Gibson G. Up there. I am going to, as part of this little vlog, I guess I am going to clean up me. I'm always trying to clean up. With 2 kids around, 2 young kids, and my chaotic tendencies. Everything should have a place, but not everything actually makes it to its place. So every so often I have to do a full-on... How did that turn on? There we go. Clean up. So the other books that came in that I ordered ages ago and they've only just started coming in, I am buying specific editions, and some of these editions are like shipping 30 to 35 days after I purchase them. And this is one of them. This is Haruki Murakami's Hardboiled Wonderland and the Edge of the World, which is the next one I have to read. And I got all hot under the collar when I heard of this edition of Beowulf. So I have read J.R.R. Tolkien's edition, translation. But this is a new translation by Maria Davina Headley. And I found the Iliad and Odyssey by, is it Emily Wilson? Translation. From a female perspective, I found it very interesting. And I must admit, I am really hoping for some expert to maybe do a retranslation of the prose and the poetic edda at the very least, and maybe some of the sagas, Icelandic sagas, because I don't know, reading them with a critical eye, knowing certain things about Norse culture and then reading some of those translated sagas with some very obvious misogyny in some of them, I got a feeling we're not reading the translation that could be. Anyway, and the other book I got is just supplementary exercises for Old Norse and Old Norse, Old Icelandic. Jesse Boyle and Randall Gordon. It's just a little book to supplement the language edition books that I have. So, Jesus, my son is so sick at the moment. He's okay. He's got a nasty cough. We'll be home again tomorrow, and that can go up there, and I'll put that away later. So, of the 4 books I got in, 2 of them have to go on my to-read list. So I'm trying to get a lot of... Oh, that was a pen. That was a pen. Sorry, I'm very discombobulated at the moment because I should have been at work today, and I'm not. Mama.
My teacher said I eat lots of healthy food at school.
Yeah. So?
And I have...
You can have a squishy.
Because at home.
You can have a yogurt, then you can have some bickies. Yogurt first, though. See, I've completely lost track of what I was saying now. So anyway, welcome to my channel, my vlog. I haven't really introduced myself in such a long time. I just assumed the people that actually watch my videos are the ones that have been around for ages. It's a squishy!
And it's my favorite.
It's your favourite pineapple and coconut. There you go, beautiful blues.
I say I am blue.
You got beautiful blue eyes. I know. They say you shouldn't use beautiful when describing your little girls, but she's got beautiful blue eyes. So I taught her. She was asking me for something the other week, and I turned around and I said, well, you go ask Daddy and you give him your beautiful blue eyes. And she turned around and she goes, Daddy, please. We cracked ourselves laughing. Anyways, I'm just writing these 2 new books into hard boiled. So I'm just going to call it that because I know what it is. Murakami. One of these days I'll remember how to spell his name. And we are at capacity. Oh, we are indeed. That can go up there. Okay. I do only have what have I got? So I've got nope, that's the wrong week. That's the week. So I just got 4. I have 1 book on pre-order which is coming in next month. That is the Enchanted Greenhouse, which is like the companion novel to The Spell Shop, which I really enjoyed last year. And then I've got 3 more books. I think I've read 1, and the other 2 are to be read. Let's have a look. Obviously that reference book is, I'm not counting that in my to-read list because I haven't even read the... I do want to teach myself Old Norse, but I don't know when I'm going to have the brain power to do it. One of the channels I watch has actually just started doing Old Norse lessons in his Patreon, and I'm just like, I wish I had the brain power to commit to that right now. I was just telling me my co-orders arrived. Okay, I've got Zero History, which is the 3rd book coming for Gibson, which I haven't read. And then I've got Keeping It Real, which I have technically read, but I need to reread it, and I've got the other 4 books sitting there. I decided to go and get it again because it came and it was large format, and so I've only got 3 books outstanding. Got that one, got that one, got that one. Got that. Need that one. Yeah, I've actually only got 3 books outstanding. No. I do have another one coming, which is Norse Religion, which is actually from that channel I was just discussing, which I can't think of the name. I'll put them down here somewhere. Okay. I was introducing myself. My name is Renee. I live in Melbourne, Victoria, Australia, with my husband, my 4 children, 2 furred, 2 humanoid, and I have not been a very good YouTube poster recently. Just yeah, my son has recently been diagnosed autistic. My daughter is showing multiple signs that she's also autistic to a degree. And I fully blame myself because I have given them the opportunity to not mask, as opposed to when I grew up and you were just told to get the fuck on with life. My parents loved me, but different era back then. And so we've been dealing with a lot of fallout. Not in a bad way, but it's just tough. It's a new dynamic in the house. We've got to do a lot of specialist appointments, and yeah, trying to sort out finances and that, and hence my emotional purchasing of all these books in the last month, like a month ago, because I needed the hit. But to be honest, I've spent a lot on books. I've spent a fair bit on yarn, but I was saving my pennies for yarn. But now I think I've got enough to just sit back and enjoy, and I don't necessarily have to purchase a lot of things. There are some books I would really like to purchase, but I don't have to purchase them. And things along the lines of, like, if I want to finish a series, I want to be in that position where I am just trying to finish series, and maybe I'm trying to read a few different authors' back catalogues. One of them is actually Rachel Cusk, which I have not put on my wish list yet. I gotta find out what book I should be getting next. Anyway, it should not be something that I'm looking at. Anyway, okay. Okay, so the purpose of this vlog, stamp it or scrap it, is going to be to read down my TBR. So at the moment I've got well over 50 books again. I do not have the same books that I discussed in the last video. I have DNF'd a fair few of those, and I've bought a few more. What am I up to? I've got 2. Actually, I only got 51 on my TBR. Now, there's a couple of books I've got to add back on there. because I keep jumping back and forth over this series. They intimidate me, I won't lie, but they're actually not as big as I think they are. So, The Dreaming Void and The Temporal Void by Peter F. Hamilton. These look like humongous books, don't they? But the thicker one of the two is only 740 odd pages long. So they look scarier than they are. And I keep taking them off and putting them back on and taking them off and putting them back on. And you know what? I don't actually have space to put them up there at the moment. So they can live down here. But I think I need to give them a go. Like, I read about 5 pages of his short story collection. Something in Manhattan, I think it was called. And I didn't like the style, but short stories are not necessarily my thing. So I really want to give his long form a go. So yeah, but we currently have... Okay, so why I've done this is I'm changing my diary at the end of this month. I'm going back to my financial year, which is July to June. So I have rewritten my list of books into the back of that diary, and I'm looking at that right now. And at the moment, pre-2025 books, so instead of being just pre-2024, I've made it pre-2025 now. I only have 15 books. I only have 15 books on this list. Fuck. On a good reading month, I can get rid of all of them. And then at the moment, then the rest of those books are up to June this year. So at the moment, I have about 50 books, 53 books that I want to read by the end of the year, because my aim is to get my TBR down so the big books can fit behind my copy of my book, Descent. But I want the smaller books to all fit on this tree, which is about 20 to 25. And on top of that, I want only to have books in here that I have acquired within like the last 6 months. And the reason I want to do that is, one, I want to be excited about what's on that list to read, and I find the longer I have it, the less excited I am to read it. And 2, I want to do some rereads next year.
Mama.
You can have some bickies.
Yeah.
Yeah? Are you going to have your spice bickies?
Yeah.
She loves spice bickies. Loves them. The Danish ones? The ones with they have the windmill picture on them? Adores them. I bought some for me. Christmas about 2 years ago. I have not had one since because she keeps eating them all. Anyways, okay, so current books where I have a plan. I also have a lot of yarn everywhere because I'm currently in the middle of this blanket that I want to finish. So I think I've got 3 books that I kind of want to get finished for this vlog. And I think I could do that. I'm going to be home tomorrow with Mark. You can probably hear the coughing in the background. But I am currently reading Deathstalker Prelude by Simon R. Green. Now this has actually got 3 novellas in it. I am about 40 pages from the end of Mistworld, which is the longest one. And God, I forgot how good he was a writer. I love Simon R. Green's Forest Kingdom series. I adored Hawk and Fisher when I was growing up. If you know, you know. And I've got to reread. I want to reread. I've actually collected them all. I found the one, Once in a Blue Moon it's called. Yeah, Once in a Blue Moon. I found it. I have never read it. It's the only Forest Kingdom book I haven't read. So I finally got everything. Have I got everything now? I've got Down Among the Dead Men. I've got the 2 omnibuses. Yeah, I think I've got everything. I mean, Beyond the Blue Moon was a bit strange towards the end, and I got to reread it. Because I don't really remember it very well. But so anyway, Deathstalker is his sci-fi series about the Deathstalker. Owen Deathstalker, I think his name is. And this prelude has the 3 novellas in it of different worlds in the Deathstalker universe, sort of pre-Deathstalker storyline. And I know one of these books, I think it might be Hellworld, has a scene in it that I remember reading, or might have been Ghost World, when I was about 14 years old, and it has stayed with me for years, all that time. In and out of writing, in and out of reading, this one scene I used to think about often. And I can't remember which one it's in, so I can't wait to read it and find the scene so I can tell you which one to read. It's not in Miss World. It's definitely not Miss World, but I forgot how good an author this guy was. So my plan at the moment is when I finish Miss World, I'm going to get off my ass and I'm going to finish reading How to Write Science Fiction and Fantasy by Orson Scott Card, because I started a project to read 2 traditionally published authors and 2 independently published authors' how-to books and compare them by chatting about them. And this is a really old one. I read this in the 90s, and it has aged, but I'm hoping the core information in it hasn't. But anyway, so my plan is to read like a novella, then read this, and then to keep breaking things up a little bit, I got this behemoth, and I want to start working my way through this. So this is going to be a long-term project. I am going to sit there before I start reading this and sort of break down the chapters, tab them up or whatever. But I want to read and annotate through this, and then once I've read a section of that or a saga or the introduction or whatever, I'm going to go back to reading this, and then I want to read the next book. I want to just sort of cycle around like that for a little while, because I got burnt out. I read all of Jack Campbell's Lost Fleet in one hit and I loved it, but it also burnt me out a little bit. So I'm just trying not to burn out on the current series that I'm reading. I also have Vada's War, which I started, which is Elizabeth Moon's series, sci-fi series, and I've read book 1. I loved it, but I'm putting off starting book 2 on audiobook. I got all them on audiobook, and I have instead started listening to Into the Drowning Deep. And I'm about 3 chapters in, and you know what? It's horror and it's water-based. I'm eating it up. I'm eating it up. It reads like old school. It reads like The Meg. It's that sort of old school horror, slow build-up, and I'm really enjoying it. So I think for this vlog, I'm going to try to, let's get to a section in the Icelandic sagas of the Icelanders and assess from there, because I would like to finish this, but that would involve reading 3 of these. And if I did that, it would be something like, I could, because if I pull them out, let's have a look at them. these are the 3 books that I want to compare Orson Scott Card to. So the other author, traditionally published author, is Steering the Craft by Ursula K. Le Guin, and it's tiny. She was always succinct with her words. And then the 2 sort of independently published books is Joanna Marassi's Shut Up and Write the Book and Joanna Penn's How to Write a Novel. And unfortunately both of these authors have... I want to read a marketing book by Joanna Marassi. Not a writing book, a marketing book. And Joanna Penn is very technologically forward. And I read something that I'm subscribed to her newsletter, and I saw that she's offering courses on using AI in writing, and I'm just like, I mean, I haven't listened to any of her podcasts in a while. I don't really know where she sits on the copyright, stolen art situation, and I don't know how far she would be going in those lessons about how to use AI and how far is acceptable. But the fact that she's doing classes on it kind of makes me feel like she's pro AI, and I'm like, I mean, I don't know. But I do respect that she has created a career for herself in a pretty cutthroat industry, and she's a full-time author. So I think it'll be interesting to read her perspective. And the book that goes with it is just like a companion workbook. So as you read the book, you like do exercises and things. I might not do that. But yeah, so that's sort of where I am sitting at the moment. It is Saturday morning, 28th of June. End of financial year's coming up very quickly. And I finally finished Miss World this morning. I only had 40 pages and I just could not get the energy to read the last few days. I wanted to read, but I've just been really tired. I've had sick kids at home. But yes, come on, Simon R. Green. If you haven't tried his books, give them a go. Now, I can't speak for his urban fantasy magical ones. I've never read them. They seem to be the only books that are still in print for him, which is a shame, because the Blue Moon Rising, or the Forest Kingdom series, is a fantasy that I think surpasses a lot of popular fantasy series that are out here at the moment, that are very out and about and being talked about a lot. Deathstalker Prelude, well, Mistworld, I have read once before, and that was a very, very long time ago. That was when the years started with a 19, but I didn't remember any of it, and I'm so glad I didn't, because it was like reading it for the first time, and I really, really enjoyed it. He just has this ability. He's very character focused in his writing, and he just had this ability to make you care for a character, even though as a novella it was only 210 pages long. And he has multiple POVs, multiple characters, and you care for all of them, and you want them all to win, even when they're on opposing sides, except for the real bad guys, of course. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And I'm so happy I have finally gotten off my ass to read his sci-fi, because I've always loved Blue Moon Rising ever since my best friend introduced me to it when I was about 14 years old. So it's just kind of funny, because when I finally got where is it here, Once in a Blue Moon, which is the last book in the Forest Kingdom series, and I didn't even know it existed. Oh my god, my hair's a mess. Yes, it is like It's like 10 to 9. We all had a sleep in. I'm still gunky. I've got cleaning to do, so I haven't had a shower yet because I'm just going to clean the house first. So now the next thing on my challenge list is to get Orson Scott Card's How to Write Science Fiction and Fantasy read. It's only a short book, 130 odd pages, and I've already read the introduction and I think a couple of chapters, so hopefully we'll be able to get that read. I'm trying to get momentum back up. I lost momentum with reading the last couple of months. I've just been very stressed about family things. Nothing bad. Good actually, but apparently diagnoses come with a shit ton of paperwork, and I've always got this fear that I'm filling it out wrong. I read too literally, and so when I read a question, I sort of go, well, hang on, this doesn't make any sense. I think I know what you're trying to say, but it doesn't actually say that when you read it as is. Yeah. So yes, that's it for this update. I'm going to get started on the sci-fi fantasy How to Write Dyslexia. Thank you very much for that mangled title. But the first things first is I'm going to finish my coffee. I'm going to do a little bit of crochet. I'm on the last stripe for my daughter's blanket. I want to get that done, and then I can just do the border. And then she's going to have a new blanket, hopefully, that she will use, because she's currently sleeping under nothing at the moment, other than a squishy, one of those compression sleeves for the bed. She's having real sensory issues at the moment. Anyways, such is life of a mum of two. Anyway, guys, I will catch you up a little bit later. Do some crochet, watch a show, and then I have to get this house cleaned. Joy. Morning. It's Monday morning. Everyone's still asleep, so I'm talking really, really quietly. I hope you're picking this up. I finished, over the weekend, Miss World. Oh, I forgot how good Simon Arguing is. I honestly forgot how good a writer that guy is. How he can pack so much into a 210-page novella. I could only dream to be that kind of writer. It was so good getting back into his head and his universe. And bringing in here, stored in my trolley and fixed the bed. But then last night I finally finished this. This is the only book I put down and picked back up again. This is How to Write Science Fiction by Orson Scott Card. Now, it's aged. There is no denying the advice about getting published, where to find agents, all that sort of stuff is just useless. I mean, if you want to see a retro look at how people used to get published when I was a teen, yeah. But the advice on writing is still so solid. You can see some of his biases. It is interesting to see some of his biases. I think he'd be rolling in his grave with the current obsession with what's that book? How to Save the Cat. Which he calls, I think, action-based storyline or something. But yeah, it was still a good read. It was well written. There was some elements to it that I wasn't a huge fan of, but I think even back when I first read it in the 90s, I think there was some bits I didn't agree with. I've got to turn my computer on. I got my book back from my editor, and I need to do like a read through of all her comments and changes she's made. Just a quick read through, see if there's anything I want to run by her in the next week or two before I start like a proper edit. So I need to read about 4 or 5 chapters a day. Anyway, that's just reading. I'm not going to be doing too much in the way of editing. And then last night, before I went to bed, I picked up the Saga of the Icelanders, and I'm just reading the introductions and the preface and all that at the moment. And it's just, there's not much to say really, but so much. Already found some interesting things and interesting points in this. I don't know, is anyone else read these with a critical eye? Because I find it interesting that, you know, like in the introduction, who wrote the introduction? What's her name? Robert Kellogg. He just goes, oh yeah, you know, although they were strong women, it is clearly a man's age. I'm like, how is it clearly a man's age? These sagas were finally written, so they've had oral changes in them for 300 years. They were finally written 300 years after the events, and they were written by Christians who had a very clear hierarchy and very clear roles for men and women. But the laws of Iceland and the laws of the Norse, which we know of, give women very clear rights. So I'm just wondering if anyone's ever read the sagas with that Christian filter and just said, well, hang on, this sort of is very Christian and that's very Christian, so maybe that didn't happen that way. It's just a, you know, I've read a book years ago, Christianity in Tolkien, where the guy, he was a Christian himself. I just read it because I was interested. And as a Christian was showing all the Christianity stuff and that in Tolkien's Lord of the Rings, which was really interesting because there's just little like unconscious sentences and things that we obviously put into our work because of our own personal bias as a writer. Yeah, I just don't think we're getting the whole story when it comes to the sagas. But anyways, I'm going to go finish making my coffee, open up my manuscript and try to get something read, not written, read. Dropped a bit of yarn. I'm going to have to rewind that. Okay. It's Tuesday morning. If I sound croakily, it's because I just got up, had my shower. I'm boiling the kettle for a coffee. Oh, I had a ride last night. So, I didn't go to bed till, I like to go to bed around 8 o'clock and read for an hour and a half before bed. Shower included in that, 2 hours. So, but I didn't go to bed for that till about 9 last night because I was winding my yarn. So I've been meaning to do it for ages. The little balls that the yarn comes in, they're so knotted. So I just got home yesterday. It was our takeout night. So I just spent the night, I pulled everything out and I just wound it up. And I wound all those little 50-gram balls into 200 gram. So 4 balls together where I could. And it's really made some space in my yarn. I'm not going to buy any more yarn, but I just wanted it to be neater. I haven't done it all. I've still got all the yarn for that shawl. Yeah, I've still got a bag. Anyway. When I did finally get to bed, I did finish the introduction for the Saga of the Icelanders, I am really looking forward to starting the first of the sagas. It's interesting because it was discussing technique and how it differs from other fiction written or other things written at the time. I won't say fiction, but like the European and the UK sort of stylistic compared to the Icelandics, which is probably closer to our form of the novel than a lot of books this morning. I'm really tired, sorry guys. And just how, and there's and just a discussion how like the thought process that was going on in the Icelandic mind that was writing them. It was interesting. It was interesting stuff. And then instead of jumping back into Simon Green, I decided to just bite the bullet and read this. I skim-read the entire book in about 20 minutes. How did I manage that? Well, my first YouTube tuber / author tuber was Joanna Marassi, and if you've watched enough of her videos, you've read this book. It's as simple as that. It is derivative. It has nothing new to add to the discussion. It is literally chapters that are like her 10 points to make. My water's boiled. Just gonna go for a bit of coffee. Yeah, it's Save the Cat in another form. There's one chapter about structure, which I found particularly egregious, where she's trying to say there's 3 types of structure. There's the 3-part story structure. There's the heroine's journey and the hero's journey and the heroine's journey. They are all variations of the same structure, which is the 3-act structure. And then I get to the end of the book. I mean, I ideally would love to read a book about marketing from this woman. I think that is where her strength lies. But I get back to the book, and here's the references, and I think this will tell you everything you need to know about this book. Reference 1. The Heroine's Journey by Grail Carriger. 2. Save the Cat by Blake Snyder. 3. Save the Cat writes a novel by Jessica Brody. So, yeah. It was disappointing to say the least. I was really, really hoping that she would come through and actually do some research and not just regurgitate the same shit I see all over the AuthorTube. And if you haven't guessed by now, I am not a fan of the Save the Cat. I think it is very derivative. I think it is a very oversimplified version of the structure itself, let alone completely ignoring the fact that there are multiple other structures in the world for stories. If you want to read a book about structure, read Story by Robert McKee. And yes, it is technically a book about films, but it illustrates my point exactly. So yeah, that was painful. Yeah. So on that note, I am now going to fire up this beast, and I'm going to at least try to read a couple of chapters before the kids get up. But I'm very late out of bed this morning, very late moving. I'm not going to get much done. But I'm just trying to keep on track, read a couple of chapters to 4 or 5 chapters a day. I'll read more tonight because I've told me out. I think I just heard one of the kids moving. I need my coffee before I wake up. Yeah, definitely need a coffee. guys. It's post-shower, pre-coffee, Friday morning. I haven't read much this week. Just been really tired. I just keep my ear out in case the kids are waking up. So I decided to start a new crochet project because I'm just really tired and I can't think too much. So of course I try a new design that I've never tried before, but I'm obsessed with it. And I did all this in like an hour last night, maybe an hour and a half. So my tension is really screwed up though. I don't know why. 1 minute it's really loosey-goosey, the next minute it's crazy town and just tight, but that's okay. So I have done a little reading. So I started Ghost World, which is the second novella in the Deathstalker Prelude by Simon R. Green, and still loving it. I forgot how good this writer was. It's interesting because although I insist on writing in third person limited, I've noticed that a lot of my favourites, I do have a lot of favourites that are third person limited, but some absolute favourites are actually just third person. Omniscient. Oh my god. I haven't had coffee yet, let's just forget that word. And that's what Simon R. Green is. He's third person wide. Omniscient. I think that's how it's said. Yeah, so I wouldn't exactly say we'll keep you interested fever pitch. But that's also too, I'm very, very tired, as previously mentioned 50,000 times. And the other book that I'm in the middle of, because apparently I read 2 books at a time these days, is I picked up Steering the Craft by Ursula K. Le Guin. I'm not going to say it's the difference between independently published authors and traditionally published authors. I think it's a difference in age. Because this so far is the best one of the lot. So I would say this one, then King's memoir, then possibly Story, then How to Write Science Fiction by Orson Scott Card, and I can't really rank, and then of course Generosity. I can't rank Joe and a Pen yet because I haven't read it, but yeah, it's just, I mean, it's interesting because it was written in 1998, I think it was released. So How to Write Science Fiction Fantasy was released in like 92. But if you ignore all the advice on how to get published by Orson Scott Card, the core part of the writing, the bits about the story and, you know, improving your craft, that sort of stuff, still so relevant today. Anyways, I'm going to go finish my coffee and then I'm going to, I think, sit on the couch because it's cold in here and have my coffee. Okay. I just had a really crazy idea. So I am loving Deathstalker Prelude, don't get me wrong, absolutely loving it. But I'm looking at the books that I have to read, you know, my TBR down, and there's a lot of books here that are second or thirds, or books of authors I know I love. Right.
Mama,
Yeah.
can I smile to Dad, please?
Yeah.
Hello to the people.
You gonna do some singing?
And
No, proper singing. So we go. What's one of your favourite songs at the moment?
Sailor Moon.
Sailor Moon? What about ships on vigor of the waves are skimming, barren summons to the verdant plains. Each horizon is a new beginning. Rise and rain. Ooh.
Mommy, stop.
Mummy embarrassing you.
And a Barbie girl.
In a Barbie world, life in plastic. It's fantastic. Yeah, okay, good girl. Okay, come on, off you go. Go watch your show. It's going to be bedtime soon. It's going to be bedtime soon. Hey, come on.
And a Barbie girl.
No, Mummy's busy. Come on. So, what I'm thinking of doing is taking those authors out of my to-read list and putting them into the shelves because... Morgan, please. Come on. Mummy's trying to talk. Mummy's trying to talk to the camera. Mummy's trying to talk. See? Mummy's trying to talk to the camera. Come on. And that would significantly reduce this pile so I can focus on the books and the authors I have no idea about. Because 2026... I've decided is going to be my year of the reread or my year of the consolidating my library. So what I want to do is start with A in January, look at the book. If it's like a second-hand copy or it's an old like trade paperback copy, I might replace it if I can.
Can I have a snack?
What snack would you like?
Those.
No, but you're going to have a Bicky.
Yeah.
You can have a Bicky or some fruit. No, come on. You've already had lolly today. Or would you like a little bit of chocolate?
A little bit of chocolate.
Do you want frog or do you want Mummy's chocolate?
I know. Chocolate frog.
Chocolate frog? Okay, can you reach them?
No.
Yeah, I better go help her. The chocolate frogs are high in the fridge. Yeah, so like for instance, I love Anne McCaffrey. I know I'm going to enjoy the Anne McCaffrey books, so I can put the Anne McCaffrey books in my library. Inverted commas. I won't stamp them, but I don't have to read them yet. And then next year, when I get to M's, I will be going through all my Anne McCaffreys. Maybe this might take me a couple of years to go through all my library. But what I want to eventually do is a lot of the books I've been picking up.
Help.
You need help? Okay. Chocolate frog achieved. So, okay, so what that would mean is a lot of these books, not actually not that many now that I look at it, but enough of them would go away into here. Just, I'm still going to read them, but next year, maybe for 2 years, what I'm going to do is I'm going to focus on fixing my library. So I've picked up a lot of second-hand books. I've just been grabbing books as I can afford them. And what I want to do as of next year onwards, I want to start being a bit more... conscious of... It's like my yarn. I just bought all the yarn. I played with a lot of things. I've sort of rediscovered what I want to use, what I didn't want to use. So in books, what I want to read, what I don't want to read. And then, so now I'm at that point where I'm very confident in a lot of the writers that I know. The writers that I've read from. I know I'm going to love most of their books. I mean, there's obviously that one or two book. But then I want to take the books, so then next year as I go through the library I'm going to be picking up extra books for that author or replacing existing books with some nicer copies or copies that match. Like the reason I haven't bought Sunrise on the Reaping yet is because they have not matched my series. Because I bought the box set of the 4 and then they announced Sunrise on the Reaping like 2 weeks later. So I want to reread The Hunger Games and annotate it, but I want to read Songbird and Snakes, Sunrise on the Reaping, and then the trilogy. Like, I want to read them in chronological order and annotate them. But I'm not going to do that until I have the matching book. So, yeah, that's sort of what I'm thinking about. Like, Le Guin. I love Le Guin, and I've got 2 beautiful books. The, what are they called? The American Library editions for all of her Hamish
Mommy,
cycles.
please.
Yes?
The big monsters still pointing to me. I need your help.
Do I have to go and tell Markov?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's telling me I'm the bad guy.
Just because he's playing cops and robbers. You can just say, Mark, I don't want to play. Okay? So yeah, so I'm going to do that now. And I'm going to be very interested to find out if I can reduce this to read pile down a significant amount so that my anxiety, it does not feel so bad. I mean, I'm still going to have to read them. We know that. But they're not sitting here judging me. Okay? That's all it's going to be. Yeah. I'm really happy with that idea. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Oh, I love... See, this is it. Because I want to go back and reread all of Rachel Cusk's back catalogue. I've got her Aftermath. But I'm not really financially in a position to go and just buy a shit ton of books at the moment. So I don't want to just read Aftermath and then not have anything else to read. So, and it's the same with all of the Murakami books. I want to go through and read all the Murakami books, and I haven't had a chance yet. Anyway, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to come back. JJ, can you please not step on my keyboard? What do you say? What do you want to say to the viewers? You hungry? He has been fed. Okay. I shall return. That was really quick, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. There's another book coming. So the first book in this series, the first book in this series, the Quantum Gravity series by Justina Robson. Now, I did get a copy of it secondhand, and it's so I found it firsthand. I found a brand new copy. I am hoping it comes this size because these are the most recent ones. And yeah, what I might do is, as I'm reading them, if I'm enjoying them, like I remember really enjoying the first book, like really enjoying it, but I read it when it was first released, so I don't know if I'm going to like the whole series, but I know I like the first book, so I don't mind going and buying that again. I just couldn't handle the fact that it was so much bigger than the others. But what I can do is, if I decide I like the entire series, I will replace them with new books. But in the meantime, yeah, 19 books. Oh, and if you can see my tree there, it's a lot less full. So I've still got the really big books off to the side. I still don't know about those Peter F. Hamiltons. I got them because I'm feeling like they feel a bit like required reading at the moment. And I think that's why I'm resistant to reading them, because they feel like required reading. But I'm going to give them a go, because Peter F. Hamilton's meant to be one of the greats, and I had a quick read of like a couple of paragraphs. I just happened to get into the end of a sex scene or a naked scene between two married couple who hate each other, so that's going to be fun. I mean, if you don't like each other, just get divorced, honestly. So yeah, I'm still on the fence about the Peter F. Hamiltons, but I'll give them a go. What else am I on the fence with? The Origins of the British. I'm on the fence about that book. Nothing else is worrying me, to be honest. I will do some moving around. I think I can get most of those books from behind there onto the tree now if I, stack the books a bit better. But I'll leave it for now. And I'm just going to go cross them all off my to-read list. And I can still go and read them if I want. There's nothing stopping me. But it means now that I can focus on these books that I either have never read the author before, or they're just books I'm not sure about. And well, actually no, all of these books I've never read the author before. Oh, except for Nidhi Okorafor. I did enjoy Binti. It was YA though. That's her first adult. And I sort of put it over here, and then I thought, no, I'm going to keep it over here. And I'm thinking I really want to read Ray Marla's When the Axe is Buried too. I really want to just read it. Oh, I want to know if it's good enough to nominate for the Hugos next year. I just haven't had the chance. But maybe I can prioritise some books that I haven't read the author before, and I'm not sure if I'm going to get that down. And then I can always come back and reassess later. Anyway, yeah, I'll now I've got to put these books into my library, and I might just leave them here. I might do that tomorrow. I've got a live tonight, and yeah, and then I can focus on these books that I have not read or not read from the author. I mean, that one, Terry Pratchett and Stephen Baxter. I mean, how can that be bad, honestly? I love Terry Pratchett, and I do recall enjoying the Stephen Baxters that I've read in the past, so... Although I really wasn't interested in his Time and Space series. I read a few chapters of that and decided I didn't like it. As I said, my taste is changing, but yeah, okay. I'm going to leave it at that. And I shall come back to you later, probably when I've actually read something. So I finished Ghost World last night. That segment's been living rent-free in my head for 30 years. I found it, and it was still just as good. I'm actually going to call this book done. I've got Hellworld left, which is the third and final novella, but I don't want to burn myself out on Simon Green just yet. That will be next year's challenge, or maybe the years after that, I don't know. And the other book I finished last night was Steering the Craft, a 21st Century Guide to Sailing the Sea of Story by Ursula K. Le Guin. And I've read a lot of technical books over the years. Most of them have good bits and bad bits. Most of them you sort of go, yeah, that would work here but not work there. This is the best of the lot. The thing I like most of this is you could literally get a group of people and do this book chapter by chapter as a group and do the exercises together and have a workshop. I didn't do any of the exercises. In fact, I skipped the exercises and most of the examples. I will go back and reread this book, but I just didn't feel the need to read them at the moment. But the examples are all, like, she uses so... This book is mainly examples. It is just... It's perfect. It's just the perfect book. So, yeah. That is the current update. The only book I have left that I wanted to read for this vlog is Joanna Penn's How to Write a Novel. So yeah, I plan on getting that started tonight, and we'll see how we go. I might see if I can get it on audiobook, because if I can get it on audiobook, I can listen to it a bit at work today. Oh no, maybe not. I've got him with me, Mr. Grumbles. Anyways, yeah, that's the update. I need to go finish making my coffee, and I shall catch you up a bit later. You mind? I'm going to clean your kitty this morning. Okay, it is Wednesday morning, and it's time for a bit of a roundup, because yes, I finished every book I was planning to read for this vlog. So all I needed to do was start vlogging, and I managed to read nearly 5 books. I say nearly because I decided to put Desktop Club Prelude down. I finished the second of the 3 novellas, and not because I wasn't enjoying it, because I want to enjoy it and I don't want to feel rushed about it. So I'm just going to put that aside and add Hellworld into my list of books that will need to be read in my next challenge. But I am happy with it. It was a really good book. I found the scene. If you've read Ghost World, I think you know. Coffee. Let's put this in some simultaneous order. Okay. I have my coffee. Okay, then I reread How to Write Science Fiction Fantasy by Orson Scott Card. Aged a bit, but still pretty good. And also nice and thin. So yeah, I did not hate that book. If you want to know my full thoughts on this book, Shut Up and Write the Book by Jenna Morassi. Yeah. Just watch the live that I did with Shah on July 4th, I think it was. Or 5th? July 5th. I did not enjoy this book. It has nothing new to add to the craft of writing. It's a cash grab, as far as I'm concerned. If this woman wrote a book about marketing, I would be right there for it. But this book was not good. Then, Steering the Craft, which is the 21st Century Guide to Sailing the Sea of Story by Ursula K. Le Guin. I love this book. This book is amazing. I recommend, if you have any desire to write in any way, shape or form, read this book. This is my new favourite craft book. This has surpassed Stephen King's On Writing for me. This is absolutely magnificent book. The best bit about this book, the thing that Stephen King's novel does not have, is this has examples. So when she tells you, when she discusses point of view, she will give you examples from known works on what that looks like. The same with techniques on styles of writing, things like that. You could put this book, you and a writing group could read through this book and do the exercises in it as a how to write guide. It is magnificent. I love this book. And the last book I read was How to Write a Novel by Joanna Penn. And I didn't hate it. but I didn't love it either. It's probably a good entry level craft book if you've not read any other craft book before. What I like about it is she's a modern author. This is a modern book. This was only released a couple of years ago. And she acknowledges that there's ways to write that we don't use so much anymore, and things like that, rather than like current types of story or type of books on writing, like Save the Cat, where they just say it's my way or the highway sort of situation. She's also, one of the reasons I originally picked this up is she's actually a discovery writer like me, so I wanted to see how she put discovery writing into a how to write novel book. And yeah, she just sort of says, look, this is what I do, it works for me, outlining might work for you. Potato, tomato. Tomato, potato, tomato. Tomato, tomato. I haven't had any coffee yet. I've had a sip. So yeah. And I've just got the workbook companion that goes with it, which I didn't do. Yeah, those are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books I've read. Now, here's the thing. Will I stamp them? I'll be keeping every book except for Shut Up and Write the Book. It's as simple as that. There is no way I'm keeping that book. But what I will say is I rediscovered a favourite author and I am not sad about it. Yeah. I love this book. Anyways, I got to go write my own book before the kids get up. So I would say like, comment and subscribe, but we're all adults here, do whatever the fuck you want. And I shall see you in the next video.